You need one? Did you open it yet?
No.
Okay. All right, everybody in the back has the 3 things. You got paper, pen. We're all set? Okay. I'm going to leave some extra in the back so that if someone comes in, you can kind of just point them to it.
Great. Well, thank you everyone for coming. I'd like to introduce Reverend Dr. Christian Cherry. Her passion for social justice began while obtaining a double major in communication and sociology from Millikan University and spending time at the Urban Life Center in Chicago. She received a master's in sociology and her PhD in communication, both from the University of Missouri. Dr. Cherry is a full tenured professor at Central Methodist University, where she has been teaching for 18 years in the Department of Communication. In 2025, Kristen graduated from the University Urban Ministry School with an advanced certification in metaphysics and was ordained by Unity Ministries. Also in 2025, the Compassion Consortium ordained Dr. Cherry as an animal chaplain. Volunteering is important to her many capacities, including prisons, homeless shelters, urban youth centers, and food pantries. Her passion is to promote community peace and well-being by lobbying with lawmakers. Dr. Cherry currently attends Unity of Columbia, and serves as a prayer chaplain and aides with the youth and family ministry. She also regularly gives sermons at several local churches. Reverend Cherry's passion for New Thought Christianity is a driving force for her talks and volunteer work. Please welcome Reverend Dr. Christian Cherry.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It is absolutely my pleasure to be here. I've been welcomed with open arms, and I've just had such a wonderful experience so far. But as you know, you just heard, I am at heart a teacher. So in everything I do in my life involves teaching or learning, because I'm the learner too sometimes. So we're going to start with a little quiz. Okay. There's a reason you got that sheet of paper, right? And that pen. So here's what we're going to do. Now, I know for some people it may be uncomfortable for you to close your eyes. If that is you, I'm going to ask that you either just look up or look down, but not look at what you're doing in front of you. Okay? If you are okay closing your eyes, I'm going to ask that you do that as we do this exercise. Okay? So if you're at home, hello, everyone at home, future people, good to see you. I'll give you a second. I want you to grab a sheet of paper, like printer paper. Just like this. So everybody, you only need one in your hand. I gave you two. You can set the other one aside. You just have one sheet of paper in your hand. Okay. I just realized we didn't open in prayer. We're going to do that. We're going to do that before the quiz, because you may need some prayers for this quiz. All right. So let's take an attitude of prayer as we begin. Take a nice deep breath and feel yourself grounded in the Spirit of the Lord. You can feel it through your feet, through your bottom, through your hands. We can hear the sounds of joy of the children outside, and we know that our atmosphere in here is just as joyful. See, everybody knows it too. Everybody even outside here. They all want to come experience the joy because we're going to talk about some very important unity topics. And as we think about unity, we feel so grateful that we have this knowledge to these advanced learning topics that we can use to help better our lives. So with the grace of God, we say thank you, and so it is. Amen. All right. I forgot to pray for you for the quiz, but that's all right. Okay, so you had to close your eyes, and now we're back open. Now we're closing again. Okay, part of the roller coaster ride. Okay, close your eyes if you're willing. Hold your paper in your hand. Okay, I'm going to read a series of steps. You are to not keep your eyes closed, and whatever you do, do not look at anybody else. I will call you out. No, I'm just kidding, I won't, but it's better if you don't. Okay, you've got your sheet of paper. First thing I want you to do is I want you to fold your sheet of paper in half. Okay. Now, you're holding your sheet of paper in your hands. You've got it folded in half. I want you to tear off the upper right-hand corner. Just tear it off. Okay. Now you're going to go ahead and fold your paper again in half. Okay. Now, I want you to tear off part of the lower right corner. You're folding that paper in half again. It's getting smaller. This time, I'd like you to tear off the upper left corner. Okay, this is the last time we're going to fold that paper in half. And you are going to tear off the lower left corner. Now, once you've torn off that lower left corner, I know it's hard because once you fold that paper, I can see that it becomes a little difficult. You can open your eyes once you've got that done, and go ahead and open up your piece of paper. And I want you to kind of hold your paper up, and I want you to look around, and I want you to find the person that has the exact same one as you. Anybody have one? Somebody that did it the exact same? I've got one like this. Nobody did one like this. I see a couple that are similar, but not exact. You're close, but if you hold it up, is it identical? Is it exact? Well, why didn't you guys follow directions? I told you exactly what to do. What happened? I'm serious. I legit want to ask you to answer this. Well, why? Oh, no. You've got 5 holes. He's only got 3. I only got 2. Well, tell me what happened. What went wrong? I'm a teacher. I'm teaching you. I'm reading directions, and I failed. None of ours look the same. What happened? We hear differently. I could tell I was turning it. Okay, depending on how you felt. So we were all turning it in different directions. Yeah. Perception. We made different choices. Exactly. Yeah, and there's different ways of folding. Every time, and there's different ways of tearing. I tore off a little part one time, and another time I tore off A big part, right? So I didn't tell you how much to tear off. I have never had anyone actually have two identical ones. I don't think it would actually be possible in this exercise, right? Because perception is everything. Might have the same pattern, but it's not exact. Your whole, that didn't sound nice. Your center is bigger than his. Yes. I don't want to go there. So the point of all of this, let's get to the point. I didn't just want you to waste paper. That wasn't why I do. I love trees. But I want to tell you that perception is everything. There's a reason, when we look at research, I love to cite research because that's all I read is research journals and nonfiction. And one of the things that we can look at when we look at crime, when we look at people that have observed crimes that are occurring, when they go to talk to the police officers, they've all got a different version. One guy had a black shirt on, the other guy had a white shirt on, the other guy had a blue shirt on, and truly it was probably a yellow shirt the whole time, right? Or something like that. But it's because we selectively perceive things in a specific way. It's how our brain doesn't go into complete overload. If we perceived every single thing that was happening, that fan, that window, those kids, we couldn't do it, right? So it's all about training your brain to perceive in such a way that you are perceiving things through the Christ consciousness. That's when you are truly living heaven on earth. Now, before we get deep, we're going to do another exercise. And I have selected a volunteer that I would like to come up. I'm going to move this out of the way, just because we might get a little crazy up here. So what we're going to do is, I bring a lot of props, and I'm really sorry there's one I forgot I was so disappointed in, but we got a whole story about that. That's how we got the bear. But I have these glasses, and I'm not going to tell you anything about them right now, but what I'm going to do, we may have to, I think those are good. Let me figure out which way is the up way. Okay, so this is where your nose goes. So I am going to have her put these glasses on, and then I'm going to stand back here, and I'm going to throw some balls, some really soft balls, and I want you to help me count how many she can catch. We'll start pretty close. Are you ready? Here, look, I'm here. I'm here. Ready? Yeah. Coming at you. Oh, God. Oh, okay, here we go. Coming at you. Oh. Here we go. 3. Oh. You want it higher? Is higher better? Oh! Do you want it higher or lower?
Oh, higher.
Okay. Oh. Oh!
Okay, I'll get this one.
Oh! Uh-oh, this ball is flat.
Last one.
Nope. Nope, two more. We got it, right here.
I'll get this one.
Oh! Okay, now, we're not done yet. Take off the glasses. Let me have my balls back. And we're going to try it again.
Yeah.
This time without the glasses, okay?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. That's okay. Okay, 1, help me count. 2, 3, 4, 5, you're on a roll. 6, 7, 8. All right. What was the difference?
These are extraordinary. My perception.
Where's the mic that we had for the audience? Did we have one? because I want to ask her about her experience here. Okay, so tell me what you saw when you looked through these glasses.
The first time.
What does it look like when you looked through them?
The world was upside down. There was missed depth perception. I felt dizzy. Lots of angles of light. And I could feel my body, but not where I was spatially and where you were.
Right. So these glasses, I have kids, and they're from a game called the Upside Down Challenge game. And what you do, these glasses, they work with your eyes, and they just flip it, so you're seeing everything upside down. So she was seeing the balls coming at her from down below. So it's no surprise that she didn't catch any of them. I didn't expect her to, right? But as soon as we removed these glasses, it was pretty easy for her, wasn't it? So it's kind of like the glasses represent when we're not in our Christ consciousness. We're not succeeding, thank you, you could sit down, in the best way that we can, right? Because we're blinded. We're trying, we're moving our arms around, we're doing our best, but we're not getting anywhere, right? But the very second she took them off, you got it. And that's what unity is all about. It's all about controlling the way that you think. Would you drive home with these on? No, they're unsafe. We don't want to do that, right? Of course not. So, anyhow, taking off those goofy glasses changed your whole world, essentially. It literally changed your entire world. And that's what your thinking can do. If you can change your thinking, you can change your words, you can change your actions and your behaviors. So today we're talking about perception being everything. So hopefully as you came in, you got to see I had a bunch of little perception games around. There's some a book, one of those mind's eye books. But I want to ask you a couple other things. Which one of these arrows is longer? Number 1 is the top one. Number 2 is the bottom one. Thank you for playing along. Because you knew what I'm talking about was perception. But it does. To me, when I first looked at it, I thought the top one was longer. But they are both the same, right? But perception, if it wasn't next to, if these, end parts weren't on, it would be easy to tell. Let's look at another one. Here's one that I know everybody's seen, where you can see the old lady or the young lady. Have you seen this before? Yeah. So these are all visual examples of perception. Here's another one. What do you see on this? That's the first time I've ever gotten that answer. Oh, yeah. A face or a vase. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Your perception was right on. But you know what? Perception can also be auditory. Remember that big thing a couple years ago? I had to look it up because I couldn't remember. The Yanny and the, what was it? Laurel versus Yanny. Remember that sound? You'd play the sound, and half the people heard Yanny and the other half heard Laurel. You didn't hear about this? Oh, it was a big thing. Yeah. Look it up because it's so funny. It's the same exact audio clip, but depending on the way your ears are perceiving it, you'll hear something different than somebody else. So I was going to include that, but I didn't. But look that up. That's interesting because it can also be sensory. When I was a kid, my mom was always the head room mother and did all that, and I always remembered this. For Halloween, one year, we did the story time. And we had our eyes closed, and there was this plastic bag, and we'd tell a story, and then we would reach our bag in, reach our hand in, and we would feel inside the bag and see what, the scary thing was. So I'll never forget it, because when we got to the part where the ghost's eyes popped out or whatever, and I put my hand in that bag, it really felt like monster eyes. You know what it was, though? It was grapes that had been peeled. Yes. But in my mind, my fourth grade mind, I'm feeling monster eyes. You know what I mean? But of course, perception is everything. So perception is not just your eyes, it's your ears, it's all of your senses. And we all perceive differently with different kinds of senses. We live in a visual culture. The last research that I saw suggested that on the average day, you see about 1,300 moving pictures in a day. And then you wonder why we're overstimulated. Between the internet, the TV, your cell phone, your iPad, the digital billboards, it's all over. Our car, the car I got in, I was trying to, put the map on there. It's everywhere. We have those sayings, seeing is believing, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? So we're a visual culture. So that's why mainly I'm going to talk about the visual idea of perception. So let's see where we want to go next here. I want to tell you a story, I think. So when I was in college, it was my junior year. I was in a sorority, and one of my sorority sisters was studying in Italy. So it was absolutely, I've always wanted to go. I've never been out of the country, so I begged my mom for the money, and she said I could, work towards it. And I finally saved up enough money, and I got to go to Italy, and I got to do it cheaply because I could just stay with my friend, right? So I didn't have to pay for housing. Well, anyway, while we were there, doing all the sightseeing things, we were on a bus, a mass transport bus. And we're just kind of chit-chatting, and it ended up we were going the wrong direction. Everything was, it wasn't matching up on our map, because this is like 97, we didn't have cell phones, right? So we're like physically reading a map. So we're like, okay, we can either stay on this bus till the end of the line when it turns around and then just keep coming back, or we can get off and then wait for it to come back. Well, we decided we just wanted to see the city, so we would just go with the bus to the end of the line and then come back around. Well, as we're coming back around, 3 nuns jump on the bus, and they're just sitting there talking English, and they saw us talking English, so we got into a conversation. I believe they were from Iowa or somewhere. Anyhow, they said, hey, there's this big, didn't grow up Catholic, so I'm not sure the word, but there's this big sort of celebration that's occurring. The Pope's going to come out. This was when he had his Pope mobile. Remember that with the glass sort of around it? Okay, so he's like, I have 3 extra tickets. Coincidentally, there were 3 of us. He said, would you all be interested in coming to see the Pope? It's going to be pretty big, it's all in the Vatican Square. There was probably about, 5,000 people or so there. So we're like, okay, let's go. You're only in Rome once, right? Or maybe not, but probably for me. So the way it was organized was there was one group, and then there was a street for him to drive his little Pope mobile on, and then there was a second group of people. Well, I don't know how, but we ended up right there at the first, up against the railing for the second group of people. So we're like, oh my gosh, it's, we're in the best seats in the house, and I don't even know how it all happened. It was all serendipitous. Well, anyway, it was all in another language, in Italian, so I have no idea what was going on, but we cheered and everything was good. And then he got out and he's driving around in his little Pope mobile, and everybody's reaching their arms out, Well, I'm 6'3", okay. I've got a little bit extra arm. So guess what? I got blessed by the Pope because I was just doing what everybody else was doing. I wasn't even Catholic. So then all of a sudden I'm like, holy cow, I'm looking at my hands and people are coming over, they're crying, they're trying to touch my hands. It was amazing experience. And I just thought to myself, man, how did I end up here? And for a long time, I thought I was in the right place at the right time. But there's more to that. I was also in the right consciousness. Had I not talked and spoken to those nuns on that bus, we would have never gotten those tickets. We would have never ended up there. If we had not been curious about this Catholic ceremony, none of us were Catholic. But we said, yes, we want to check it out. So we ended up having this amazing experience. And you can call it serendipitous, you can call it whatever you want, but it's what unity is all about. In fact, James Dillett Freeman, he's our poet laureate, he says, life is consciousness. Life is perception. Perception is everything. So, I want to know this. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to answer honestly. The question is, right now, can you believe that something dramatic and wonderful is going to happen to you during this hour in terms of healing or overcoming or change? Sure. I want to hear like a, yeah. You got to put feeling in it. When you speak, you've got to put the feeling behind the words to bring it into fruition. So yes, I am. Declare that, right? You want to declare that. So that's...
Is it safe to say, hell yeah, or is this the wrong place?
This is your church, You could say whatever you want. Because I'm in no judgment, right? We talked about that at lunch. I don't judge. You do you. As long as you're not hurting anybody else, I'm good. So anyhow, it goes along with what I was going to say next. Feeling is very much an important part of our lives. If you have a feeling about something, like a feeling that something truly wonderful is going to happen to you, then guess what? It's already happened because you've had the feeling and it's going to come into fruition in real life. That's the law of mind action, right? So it's all about thoughts and feelings and behaviors. So there's an ancient Chinese saying I like. It says, if you keep in your heart a green branch, I have heard there will come one day to stay a singing bird. So if you understand the message of Jesus Christ, you'll keep it in your heart, and then you'll have that green branch of expectancy because you'll be living your Christ consciousness. You'll have your branch right there, ready for that singing bird of prosperity. It's just that easy. It really is. The ancient Chinese had a phrase. They said, the teacher points to the truth, but the student worships the pointer. And unfortunately, I believe that's the problem with a lot of our traditional Christian religions, is that we are looking at traditions and things that occurred many, many years ago, and they're taken out of their historical context. In my studies, one of the things that was very important to me was to study the Hebrew culture and what was going on in order to understand why these things were written the way that they were, okay? So, for example, in the Easter story, in John chapter 20, verse 17, it was when Jesus and Mary Magdalene were alone at the tomb, and it was after everybody had left. Jesus came to her, and you know what his words were? He said, cease clinging to me. Don't worship me. Worship the teachings. Worship what I was trying to show you. That's why Jesus Christ is our way shower, right? We look to him to see how we can express love and kindness and generosity and all of those amazing things, right? So it's absolutely important. So really, that's the starting point to this new insight in truth, is training the eyes to see beyond appearances. Because we've seen all these visual things here, whatever, and they're all, can be one thing or another depending on which way you're looking at it. So what I want to do is train you to see from what I would call a cosmic perspective to attain this Christ consciousness. It's like looking at life and seeing it from the awareness of one, a complete oneness, not just with humans, but with nature, with the universe, with everything around us. You know, Myrtle Fillmore, when she defined God as substance. That's God. It's the atomic particles, and it's even the space between those. God is everywhere. There's nowhere that God is not, right? So we need to remember that and bring that into fruition. For God is not someone to see, but a perspective by which to see with. That was said by Gregory of Nyssa. I'm going to read that again. I like that one. God is not someone to see, but a perspective by which to see with. It's like the glasses, right? It's a vision, it's a perspective. It's a way of looking at things. In Matthew chapter 7, verses 1 through 2, Jesus said, "Judge not according to appearances, but judge a righteous judgment." Unfortunately, that's the problem. We do judge by appearances. And when we do that, they lead to faulty conclusions. They lead to very self-limiting conclusions. But we know that there's a reality that's beyond the appearance. And we must also remember that reality too. So think about an egg. That's a chicken, right? That's not just an egg. Like, that could be a chicken. Think about that caterpillar. How crazy is it that little caterpillar becomes this beautiful butterfly? I mean, we can just look through nature and we can see all these amazing things. The egg becomes a bird, the caterpillar, things of that nature. So how do we do this? Well, it's not something that just happens. It takes work, okay? So you're going to have to claim your divine inheritance, because you have that. Recognize that in your consciousness and make a commitment to do the work. The work never ends. Like I was speaking at lunch, as a minister, I want to be spiritually fed by my congregation as well. I'm not perfect. I'm not the one who has all the answers, right? I am here to learn as well. So it's kind of this loop that goes back and forth. So it takes practice, it takes study. You've got to discipline yourself and make a conscious effort. Jesus showed us this on his personal commitment and his discipline in his quest. Now, it wouldn't be complete if we didn't talk about the Fillmores, okay? I'm very into the Fillmores. I absolutely... where I live right now, I'm about 100 miles from Unity Village, and I get there every time I can. And this last time, it was really special because I was there for Nehemiah Week, and for the first time, I got to go into Myrtle's house. I've never been allowed inside. You have to know somebody that knows somebody. So I got to see like her bedroom, and it was like I just had goosebumps all over. It's just such a magical place. But we got to go to the Fillmores because, they weren't trying to start a religion, but they had some pretty good ideas, right? So Charles Fillmore says, "And if you believe that something wonderful is going to happen to you, if you can accept that it will happen to you right now during this hour, and the hours or days to come, then something wonderful has already happened because you've touched a key level of consciousness. So for him, it's all about this level of consciousness, the law of mind action. Everything starts in your mind, and the universe will follow. So I want to go back to where we're going to take a break here in just a second before we dig in a little deeper. But I want to go back to where we started with these goofy goggles. And I want to tell you that when you are wearing, I'm going to call them your ego goggles, they're influencing your perception. They're influencing your behavior. They're influencing your decisions. They're influencing the way you think. So they create challenges. They create health problems. They create stress. They create headaches. And it makes everything twice as hard to do. Because when you are living in the flow of life, it's easy. There's actually no work to do. The work's already been done for you. It's beautiful. So the goggles are like the error thoughts. Your thoughts that aren't aligned with your divinity. Because in unity, that's how we define sin. Sin is error thoughts. When you think something that's not positive. So I want you right now to make a commitment when we come back after this break that you're going to make the choice to remove your ego goggles and you're going to put on your Christ consciousness when we move into this next exercise. Can we commit to that? Yes. Okay. Let's take about a 10-minute potty break, get a drink, whatever you need to do, and then we'll regroup. If you want to look at some of the books that are around that have the optical illusions, those are kind of fun. I've also got some puzzles. And then we will jump in. I'll see you in 10 minutes. That would be 3:20. Ask you to, there we go, I'm on. If you are ready to take your seat, please do so. You should still have one piece of paper left. If not, let me know. Okay, and you have something to write with. So this is kind of the way I also teach. The first part, I like to kind of do what I call the lecture. Like, I want to give you some information to think about, okay? Now what we're going to do the second half of this workshop is we're going to apply that information to your life, okay? So what you're going to do right now is something that's private, okay? So whatever you write, nobody's going to see it, nobody's going to know. I'm not going to call on you and tell you to read yours out loud, okay? So I don't want you to have any inhibitions when you're doing this, okay? If you want to scoot over so you're by yourself to have a little more privacy, you're welcome to do that. But just the very best way for this to work is to be honest with yourself and to really just don't worry about what you write down. Just whatever comes to your mind is what you're going to write down. Because what we're going to do right now is we are going to make a failure timeline. Okay, I know, it sounds pretty negative, right? But it's not. It's absolutely not. It's the opposite of that. So I want you to take your piece of paper, and I think it's okay if you use one of the books to write on. Oh, okay, or something. Okay. Okay, you got something. So you got your piece of paper. We're going to use it horizontally. So go ahead and turn it horizontally. And maybe I'll just do it over here. No, I don't need to. You can follow directions. So what you're going to do is you're just going to take your piece of paper and you are going to draw a line straight down the middle. Okay? And at the beginning of the line, you're going to put 0. Okay? Then at the other end of the line, you're going to put your age. See why you're saying we need to be personal? And then I want you to make a little tick mark every 10 years in between. So I'm going to have one for when I was 10, one for when I was 20, and then I'll stop because I'm 22. No, I'm kidding. I'll just keep going. Okay, I got a few more to make. So far, it should look a little something like this. So this exercise is about creating a visual map of moments where you have experienced or perceived failure in your life. Okay? And we're going to acknowledge those feelings that you have that are tied to those events. So that's why I want you to really be forthright and honest with yourself, okay? That's how the spiritual stuff works. If it's not difficult and if it's not challenging, then you're not doing it correctly, okay? So the goal is to observe these moments in your life without judgment. You don't want to relive the pain. No, we're not doing that. No judgment, okay? No judgment. So we've got our line. We marked our key ages. Now, I want you to think in your mind. We're not going to answer out loud. I want to think how you, for yourself, how do you define failure? If somebody said, "What is failure?" How would you kind of think about how you would respond to that? What does that mean to you? It could be a moment of regret. Maybe you wish you would have done something differently. Maybe it was a goal you didn't meet. You wanted to sell $10,000 worth of cookies that month and you didn't do it. It could be a decision that you made that led to a bad consequence. Or a time that you felt that you let somebody down, or maybe you let yourself down. You didn't honor your boundaries. So there's all kinds of different mistakes that we make. Okay? So kind of get your definition in your mind and then write it down on your paper. How do you define failure? If you like. Any of this stuff you can skip. You don't have to participate. If you feel uncomfortable, you just stop. If you need to take a break, go ahead. But you absolutely are not forced to do anything you do not want to do. So just take a moment and define failure, what that means for you in your life. And I am going to do it on this because I think this makes more sense. Anybody want a book to write on? We've got somebody volunteering to grab some. I'm not going to put my definition up there, but this is what you've got so far. Now, you're going to think about these different possibly failures that you've had in your life, okay? And I want you to think about, we're only going to do 3 to 5, okay? I don't want to write out every single thing you think you've done wrong for your entire life. That's not what we're doing here. We're just going to pick a couple and work with those, and then if you want to do this some more at home, you can do that. So these can be, you want to pick a range, right? Pick a big one, pick a small one, pick one that's with family, ones maybe at work, ones that whatever. So what you're going to do is you're going to plot and you're going to label them on your graph. So what you're going to do is you're going to find the spot, and I'll tell you one of mine. It was the age of 5, so I'm going to put a little spot here. And this really happened to me. So my first day at kindergarten, I was always a really kind of timid kid. I was an only child. I was just very shy. And I rode the school bus to school. And I was worried I was going to get it on the wrong bus. And my mom said, whatever you do, you get on the bus with Carrie and Craig, and then you know you'll be going to the right place. Well, here comes the end of school, the teacher's shuffling everybody around. I don't see Carrie and Craig. She shoves me on this bus. Next thing I know, I don't know where I am. I'm riding around some random neighborhood, but I'm so shy and scared that I didn't tell anybody. I just sat there. So then all of a sudden, on the buses, when my mom's waiting at the end of the driveway to pick me up and the bus comes and I don't get off, panic ensued, right? So all the buses are radioing each other and all this stuff. And then eventually they found me on this other bus and they brought me back home. But my mother was very adamant with me and said, I told you to get on the bus with Carrie and Craig. So I made a mistake. So my mistake was about the age of 5, and I'm just going to write a real brief statement. It was when I got on the wrong bus. So that's an example of a little one, right? That's not kind of mind-blowing. But I'm going to give you some time. I want you to find 3 things between 3 and 5 events, and don't have them all be when you're a child. Try to plot some, get a good variety going. Again, this is just for you. Nobody's looking at your paper. You do you. I'm going to share mine because when I actually initially did it, I had so many on my paper. I was like, this is too much. Ooh. I guess I didn't fail between 10 and 20. No, I'm just kidding. Take another 30 seconds and kind of wrap it up, and then we're going to continue on. The Appalachian Trail, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to talk more about that tomorrow. That was a big one to get over for me.
It's almost like most people, though. It's hard to do.
Yeah. Okay, next step. This is the most crucial step in this process. Again, you need to be honest with yourself. I want you to look at these events that happened to you, and I want you to write the feeling or emotion that you have when you remember this event. Like, for example, when I think about getting on the wrong bus, I feel embarrassed. Oh, that's not going to show up. So I'm going to write that. Now, I will tell you that emotions are never just a singular thing. We don't just feel one emotion. Emotions are always a combination of many of them together. So I'm just asking you to write the primary emotion that you feel. Because I was embarrassed, I was also upset, I was also scared, blah, 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 but it was mostly the embarrassment that I didn't listen to my mom, you know? So for each one, what is that emotion? So some examples could be shame, embarrassment, regret, guilt, sadness, fear, anger, worthlessness. These are all kind of these negative feelings that we have when we feel we've failed. And these feelings are valid, and this is a safe place to explore those. So please feel free to write down your feelings. Now, just to kind of separate this out, because I should have brought different colors. Okay. So, we've got the event, getting on the wrong bus. The feeling is that I was embarrassed. Now we're going to go one more step, okay? Now this time, what you're going to do is you are going to have to attach the negative belief that is associated with this. So, for example, if you dropped out of college, the negative belief you may have is that you just weren't smart enough to go to college. So for me, I got on the wrong bus. I was embarrassed, and the belief was that I was not a good listener to my mom. Four months ago, I was attempting to through hike the Appalachian Trail. Most amazing thing I've ever tried to do in my life, but I didn't make it. I felt angry. That was the emotion I felt. And the belief that was tied behind that, for the longest time, I thought I was the biggest loser there ever was. Because guess what? There was a record that just was set. An 80-year-old woman just finished the Appalachian Trail this year, the oldest woman to do that. So I could have went two ways. I could have went, oh my God, I'm a real loser. This 80-year-old woman did it and I couldn't. Or I could think, I've still got time. I've still got plenty of time to get out there and do it, you know? So I chose that thought, right? So that's why you've got to work through these beliefs. Because these beliefs that you're writing here, these aren't true. These are things that you've probably been told by your parents when you were growing up, your friends, maybe in school by a teacher. We're socialized in different ways. Maybe even you had an early religious experience where a minister told you that you would never make a good, actually, funny enough, when I first inquired about becoming a minister to my Unity minister, I said, I'd finished the LUT classes, but I don't feel done. I feel like I want to take some more classes. And she goes, you're not going to be a very good minister. And I thought, well, I'll just take some classes and see what happens. And well, she retired and moved on, and now I have a minister that completely believes in me, and that's absolutely fine. But I had to tell myself not to believe that. Otherwise, I would have just stopped, right? Don't give your power away to other people. Never tell someone, you made me mad. You just gave her all your power. Keep your power in yourself. That's part of the Christ consciousness, is taking that power and keeping it precious, right? So you got the incident, you got the feeling, and you've got the incorrect belief. Okay? I'm going to give you just a second to go through, do at least 3, and then we're going to go on to the next thing. So look at your paper and look for any patterns. Just make a note in your mind if you see any patterns. For me personally, anger was a big emotion that I used to struggle with. I know it's funny, if you look at me now, you would never guess that I used to have a really bad road rage problem. We won't get into that. You may not want to talk to me anymore. But you know, so I look and I see that that's something that I struggle with. And if I look at when I didn't get a raise at work and I got really angry about it, I told myself that same thing. So I need to work on this. This is something that I personally need to work on, feeling like a loser. I played women's disc golf. It was when I was an amateur. I was in first place, going into the final 9. Lost it. Ended up in 4th. Frustrated, also angry, right? So that's something that I've seen as a theme going through my life. So look at yours. Your theme is probably different. And think about that. Look for the pattern. And I want you to know that by creating this physical manifestation, this physical timeline, guess what you've done? You are now an observer of your past instead of being a prisoner of it. Now you can let it go. Are you ready to let it go?
Yes.
Okay. So the unity way, of course, of letting it go is to write denials and affirmations. So that's what we're going to do today. So let's see here. How do I want to do this? I'll come back to this part. Just don't want to forget. Is there any questions? I forgot to mention that questions at any time, or just stop me. Comments, yeah.
How do you describe or define perception?
Perception, how would I define it? It is how your brain processes the stimuli around you. I think. That'd be my guess, best guess. Good question. I had to think about that one. Yes.
Does it matter why or how it came to be? What do you mean, like, yeah. So this is the original, this might be the original. It doesn't matter if it's the original time. We keep repeating the same thing.
So rephrase the.
Right? It's all about the emotion. We create that emotion because we need it to.
Correct. So once you can correct this emotion, you're going to stop repeating that behavior pattern. Okay. So the question is, I'm trying to think of how I can concisely do it, is what if you're repeating a pattern? Because a lot of times when we don't solve something in our spiritual lives, it just keeps showing back up. It won't go away, okay? So if I would do more of these, you would probably see more of my little angry incidences. So the good thing about doing this is once you've identified the underlying thing that you're telling yourself, that you're a loser or whatever it may be, once you've resolved that, then it stops showing up because you're not believing that anymore. If you tell yourself I'm a bad parallel parker, then you're going to be bad at it. I whipped into a spot like it was nothing. I got out and I was like, I was so proud of myself because I think I'm good at parallel parking. You know? It's just one of those things. If you believe, you can achieve anything you want. Anything you want. Great question. Any other things before we go on to our next part? Okay. So, I want you to pick one of your things that you've written on your paper. And you're going to look at one of those things that you just released. And what is a small, specific piece of wisdom or crucial lesson that the event eventually taught you about yourself? So, for example, for me, for most of these, it's patience. I needed patience on the Appalachian Trail. I had a heat stroke because I was trying to walk too fast. I needed to walk 3 miles an hour in order to make it to Georgia by Thanksgiving. That was what was in my head. Disc golf, when I flubbed the disc golf world championships, again, it was patience. I was over trying. I wasn't waiting. It wasn't the proper time. When I got denied for grant money, I was really disappointed at that time. But guess what? That was a blessing in disguise because I got a bigger grant a month later. And they actually conflicted with each other. So if I'd accepted the smaller grant, I would have had to deny the bigger grant. So these things that happen, we can't judge it. You know, I'm disappointed, but I'm not going to start telling myself I suck at grant writing, because then I may not have gotten that second grant. Do you know what I mean? So we've got event, feeling, what you tell yourself, and then the very top thing that you should be writing is your crucial piece of wisdom or lesson that taught you. It may be the same thing for everyone. Maybe it's not, maybe it is. I'm going to see what we've got here. Patience shows up for all of mine because I rushed onto that bus. I still remember that day, that first day of kindergarten like it was yesterday. And I rushed. I was in a big hurry to get on the bus. I wanted to go home, right? So again, for me, patience. So look at yours. See what's coming up for you. Try to do it for at least 3 of them while we're sitting here. I'll give you just a moment. Oh, yep, do what you need to do. Stand up, stretch, whatever you need. So, now, we're at the top of our chart here, and I see that I have patience a lot. So the first thing that we do, Charles Fillmore tells us, is we need to deny the perception of any sort of negative thing. So, let's see, I had some really good ones written down. Where did I put that? Because I have trouble with perception, because you're not denying reality. It's like if you have cancer, you're not denying that you have cancer, but you're denying that is the current, right, what you are, how it defines you or whatnot. So a core lie might be that I was a failure. Well, you can say that I reject the idea that I'm a failure. Or I deny the lie that my mistakes define my worth. Let's see. A core lie that a lot of people tell themselves: I am unworthy of love. The divorce rate's over 50% right now in our country. I reject the idea that my past actions make me unworthy of God's love or a healthy relationship. Just because one didn't work doesn't mean the next one's not going to, right? It's okay. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to come up with your denial, your denial statement. So they always start with, I deny, I reject, or I refuse to believe. So I deny that I am not a good listener. That's my denial for my first one here. That's not true. So then I'm going to make a denial for my Appalachian Trail. I'm going to say I reject the idea that the only way to hike the AT is in one sitting, or whatever you want to say. That was really important to me. Okay, so now I've got my denials. I'm going to put little boxes around those. So it's I reject or I deny. Those are the most popular ones. Or another one would be I refuse to believe. I refuse to believe I'm a bad driver. I refuse to believe I am not smart. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough. I'm not lovable. Whatever it is, we all have our own stuff. Now, you always start with the denial and you end with the affirmation, because the affirmation is what is going to be stuck in your memory. The theory of recency tells us that we remember the last thing that we hear. So when you're doing affirmations and denials, always end with an affirmation. And for me personally, I don't always use denials. That's up to you, whether you want to do that or not. I prefer sometimes just to use the affirmations, because I don't want to sometimes go back to these things. Sometimes I can't do it without that. So after you get your affirmations, all you do is flip-flop it. And what you're going to do is I'm going to tell you right now for all three of them, please start your affirmation with I am. By definition, an affirmation starts with I am. Otherwise, it's just an affirmative statement. Paul Hasselbeck, he's so funny, I just love him. On his website, he has what he calls the absolute word, because the daily word isn't written in, the I am language. So he actually rewrites every single daily word. It's pretty cool to go to his website and check that out. I highly recommend that. So you'll see on his, every time it's an affirmation, it's I am. I am all that I am. It comes from the Bible, right? The name of God. This is you. You're God. I am. Okay? So now we need to plug in what's going to come after. Because you can leave it just I am, and then that's infinite possibilities. But we want to be a little more specific right now. So I'm just going to take I deny that I am not a good listener. I'm just going to say, I am a good listener. Do you hear how my voice changed? You got to really feel it. I'm a good listener. Yeah, I am. And guess what? I'm going to hike the AT in different parts, and I can't wait. That wasn't an affirmation, but I am okay with the idea of being a section hiker instead of a through hiker, right? What was the other one? I am a good disc golf player. You got to tell yourself these things. Okay, so on your piece of paper, I want you to pick one or two that you are going to make, because I brought some cards, and what we're going to do is we are going to write our affirmations on these cards. You are going to take this card, and you are either going to put it, I have mine taped to my mirror in my bathroom. You can put it in your car, you can put it in your living room. You're going to put it somewhere where you see it all the time, maybe on your refrigerator, whatever. Because the more you see it, the more ingrained it's going to become. The more we practice our divinity, the easier it is to naturally express it. That's why they call it a spiritual practice. There's nobody that knows it all, right? Don't believe them if they say they do, because you're always learning, you're always practicing, okay? So, finish writing your affirmations, and I'll give everybody 2 cards, and you can pick how you want to do it. And I brought Sharpies, so they're really going to stand out, because guess what? I want you to be able to see this. So if you're cool with using a Sharpie, that's fine. They're fine pointed. You can, you don't have to. So I'm going to just send these down, like old school teacher mode. So take 2 and pass. Can you get the Sharpies? Yep. Okay. Whoa, got him. See who wants one. Okay, let me start my counting over. Yeah, use the Sharpies, because then you'll be able to see them. Funny story about the Sharpies. It's hard to talk and count. 3, 4. So I have a little side hustle. Part of my animal chaplaincy is I have an organization, an animal chaplain business. It's called Soul Snout. You can go to soulsnout.com and check it out, and you can see me and my dogs. But nonetheless, I do a lot of events with my Soul Snout to help people grieve the animals they've lost. And I have this tree that I make that people put the animals' names, and it's very beautiful. I bless it and pray over it. And I needed to order Sharpies because people write the names of their pets on these ribbons. So I was on Amazon. This is a common theme you'll probably notice. And you're welcome. Did everybody get 2? Okay. You just got 1? Okay. So you have an option of how you want to do it, because these are those cards that can fold. So if you're going to set it like on your table, then you're just going to want to put it, you know what I mean, on one side. But if you're going to hang it up, you can do it how, you know what I mean? It's just however you want to use it in your house or in your car or wherever. You need one more? So anyway, these Sharpies. So I needed to buy these Sharpies for this tree that I was creating over these animals that had passed. And I was on Amazon, and I saw I needed a bunch of them. And I saw there was a box for 8, but then I could get a box for 10 for only like a couple more dollars. It was actually a box of 100. So guess what? You just got a brand new Sharpie. Enjoy it, because I don't want to bring it home. If not, I'll take it back. But seriously, like, I just give away Sharpies. I'm like the Sharpie fairy. I'm always trying to push them on people. And
Would you add about how this existed?
so that's how the bear came about. Because, you see, I like props and all this stuff. I'm not going to tell you what it was, because if I see you again, I may still do it, but I forgot one of my props. So I get on Walmart, and I have Walmart Plus, so I'm doing an order to get this prop that ended up being the wrong thing. But I sleep with my dog at night, and I really like furry things, you know, to cuddle with and things. I don't have a cat, I don't have my dog, so it's like I'm just going to order a little bear, you know, to cuddle up with. Well, I thought the bear was 13 inches. Turns out it's 3 feet. So I flew here on an airplane, so like obviously I cannot bring the bear home. So the bear will be staying with you, and it will be all snuggled up with my snuggles, because I love snuggling. So that's how that's how I got the Sharpies, the bear. I need to just remember to put my glasses on when I'm ordering things, I think, right? Or just not, what? Yeah, I'm going to sleep with it again. Yeah. And then again the next night. I don't leave till Monday, so I'll drop it off somewhere or somebody. And I think that we've got some plans coming about with the bear that we'll figure out there. Stay tuned for that. Yeah. Okay. So without revealing to me what your stuff that you wrote down was, I want you to tell me what is one specific action that you can take this week to live out your new belief. So for example, my new belief is that I am a good listener. So maybe I will listen to a book, an audiobook, instead of reading a book. Does anybody want to share? Not their negative, but what action are you going to do this week? What are you committing to? Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. Microphone. The online audience.
With my feelings about shame.
Okay.
And I'm having a hard time coming up with a denial. Consequently, I'm now having a hard time coming up with how I'm going to deny it throughout the week.
Okay.
So, I'm not quite sure how I would work with,
So
I deny that that shame is part of my being. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time with this, but I am.
nope, it's hard. Shame is a really hard feeling to work with. So what you're going to say is you're going to deny that you had any part of whatever is causing that shame. You didn't do anything to cause that shame. I deny that my saying that is shameful.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then you can say maybe your affirmation is, I am a good communicator. Or I am, I am one who uses positive words often. Or did that help at all? Yes. Okay. Okay, good. Shame is Shame is one of the hardest, most difficult emotions because it's actually an emotion that is wrapped in so many other emotions. You know, you've got anger, you've got embarrassment. I mean, it's just, right. It's a very difficult one. So I applaud you for selecting that and picking that as one to work on because it's not easy. Because there's a lot of things I've personally felt shameful for, and it's not easy to sort of admit some of that stuff. And the output of most trauma? Yeah. Anybody else want to share an action they're going to take this week?
Actually look at my to-do list.
Actually look at my to-do list. Yes. That's good.
Actually even look at
You make it and then you don't look at it?
No, she makes it. I don't look at
Oh, even better. Okay, I'm going to follow up on these things. Okay. Okay.
I told you it was a type A.
I love that. Because we're doing this with empathy, right? We're doing this with non-judgment. We're not judging ourselves for feeling this way. These are normal human emotions. We're divine beings just trying to make it in this human world, right? So, I mean, really, working on yourself is the only way that we can change the world. I've wanted to change the world since I was as long as I can remember, and I always thought I had to go out there and do things. I had to go out and protest. I had to go out and do it to somebody else. That's not it at all. To change the world, it starts here. You change yourself. That changes your world and hence the world in itself. So what I encourage you to do is look at, did everybody get your affirmations written down? There's one last part. Oh, what was this? Oh, right. Let me look for what we're going to do. Because did you guys take notes on the same piece of paper you wrote your timelines on? Darn it. I should have mentioned that. No, but what I was going to tell you to do, and you don't have to do this, or you can maybe take a picture of it. This is gone. It's gone. Rip it up. It is done. You have released it into the universe. If I had a burning bowl, we'd be burning this up. well, probably not allowed in the sanctuary here, but just get rid of it. I'm going to go find me a trash can.
Right here.
All right.
It's a prop.
Okay. Well, I need the trash can for everyone. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Do you mind going around and having everybody just throw it? We're just going to toss it. Nobody knows it's you. Get it out. Throw it in there. Put it hard. Get rid of it. Get rid of your shit. Seriously. Get it gone. Get it out of there. Now it. Release. Release and let go. Release. Do what? Oh, this is just the beginning. Yeah, now you got to live it. This was the easy part. We wrote it all out. Now you got to go live it, the truth you know. Right? So if you want to get rid of your stuff, just throw it in there and get rid of it and never think about it again. You've done that work. And if you start to think about that thing again, you're going to pull out that little card I gave you, and you're going to read whatever you wrote on it. And if you still keep going back, you can say it 1,000 times. Doesn't matter. When I was on the Appalachian Trail, I'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow, but you got a lot of time to think. And when you're going up really big hills, you tend to think really sad, hurtful things. So you come up with a mantra. At least I did. So I used to hike and I would say, God is good all the time. All the time, God is good. It was my mantra, right? So what you wrote on your card, that can become your new mantra. Yeah. Right? So think about that, because that's personal to you. And this is just one specific time, right? If we did this exercise next year, it's going to look totally different. This is not a one and done, right? Spiritual work, like we mentioned, is a practice. So we need to clean out our closet pretty often. Get rid of your shit so we can get new stuff coming in, right? I'll tell you what, I couldn't believe it. Just the way the universe is serendipitous. So I bought a piano a while back, and thinking, I used to play as a kid. It's not one of those things you can just, like a bike, you don't just start again, unfortunately. But I had this big dream that my kids were going to play the piano just like I used to, and it was going to be so great. They had no desire in playing the piano. So now I had this piano that just sat in my house. So it was really pretty piano. But like I mentioned, I'm downsizing the house that I live in, regardless of where my life ends up. So I decided I wanted to get rid of this piano because it costs so much money to move a piano. Oh my gosh. So anyway, I look on Facebook Marketplace. Everybody's selling a piano. Everybody's got a free piano, right? And I'm like, well, shoot. I had a really fancy piano. It was like, I think it was like 1933. I don't know. It was something really special about it, they told me. So I put it out there on Facebook Marketplace, and I couldn't believe it. 2 days later, a gentleman called me up, and he was a master's student in orchestra at the university, and he wondered if he could buy my piano. I mean, I was only selling it for $25. It's not like I was, and with the bench and everything, and it was just the most amazing thing. He rented a truck, he showed up, he moved the piano out, and now we're friends. He sends it because I said, I just want to have a good home. Are you going to play it, or is it just going to sit there? Like, I'm real worried about this piano. I don't know why, but, he sent me pictures of him playing. His wife plays, and it's like, release and let go. I let go of that piano, and now it's got a life. And I'm waiting to see what's coming in my life next, right? I'm hoping for some good stuff to come real soon. So that's what it's all about. You release and let go, and then there's nothing else that you have to do. It naturally will come into your life. So I really appreciate everybody that came to the workshop today, and everybody online. Thank you so much. because this work that we did today, I didn't pick some easy little workshop idea. I wanted you to go deep, because that's the kind of minister that I am. I'm not a fluffy person. I'm not going to say, oh, you're so wonderful, you're so wonderful. I mean, you are, I'm going to tell you that. But I'm also going to ask you to do the work. And that's something that only you can do for yourself. So I wanted to give you an example of the kind of depth that I'm interested in providing in kind of workshops and classes. I like to do book studies. I'm just a natural teacher. I love teaching. So that's pretty much what I have to say for today. Questions, comments, thoughts, ideas? I don't even know what time it is. It's 4:12, so we have until 4:30, is that right? Okay. Okay. We got, okay. Oh,
Growth would be important to do, maybe quarterly or every half year.
absolutely. Have you guys participated in Hop Cough when you had a transitional minister? Honoring your past and the future? You need to do that. That's something that your new minister will need to do with you. It's called Hop Cough, HOPCOF. Gosh, we've done it so many times at my church, but it's basically like reviewing the past and making future. It's kind of like what we did today, but in the eyes of the church, not individually. You know what I mean? Exactly what you were talking about. Yeah, that's a great point.
But start with personal, so everybody gets the...
Yes, because as a group, you all got to have a buy-in. Everybody has to buy into your goals, your objectives, all of that.
Hi again. I loved that you said you do book groups, and I'm wondering what else you do in the way of kind of studying something like this. You do, obviously, book groups maybe, and I'm wondering if there are other things that you could talk about.
So yeah, I do all kinds of things. My favorite things are teaching classes. I'm able to teach any Unity class for credit, so anybody that's interested in becoming an LUT or just taking a class, that's fine too. I love books. I like to do book studies, whether it's Unity books or even just fun books. I did one on, because of course, I was on the Appalachian Trail. You know that book, Wild? That's actually kind of a spiritual book. I did a book study on that at my church, and then we watched the movie together. So movie nights, discussion groups. To me, it's all about connection as the community. So doing those things, everybody's invited, bunko, you gotta have fun stuff too, bunko night or a drive-in movie night or kind of whatever the resources are available. But for me, I'm very much an academic. I never left college. Like, I'm still in college. You know what I mean? I would take this job, I would actually be leaving college for the first time. It's a little scary, but I feel called. And again, I'll talk about that tomorrow. I'll tell you that story tomorrow. But thank you. What else?
This is actually related to something you said at the lunch table, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I think Meg made a comment about that we're not separated, we're all one. And I said, I wish we all thought that way, the world would be a different place. And you said, we already know that. And I'm confused. Maybe you could elaborate a little bit on that statement, that we all know that we're one.
Okay, so in our divine selves, we know that we are one. So for example, in metaphysics, there's 2 levels of consciousness, okay? There's the relative level, which is us and our human selves with all of our thinking error thoughts and stuff. Yes, our egos. Then there's the absolute realm, and that's the God realm, where everything is perfect, everything is done and already there. So that's where we're from. So they define, in unity, they define a sin as an error thought. So if you think that not everybody believes in peace, then now you've sinned. Because our divine selves, we were made in peace. We were made in God's image. That's us. There's no option but to be divine. You're perfect. You're perfect, you're beautiful, and there's nothing to do differently.
I get that from me, but I don't see that, like, if I look at the government, I don't see that they think that they're all the same, all from one, because they're treating people differently.
2 comments on that. How do you change the world?
Yeah, to be the best I can be.
Okay? And second concept is, what's the 5th unity principle?
You don't just know it, you have to live it.
Exactly. So that's why social action is needed, right? That's why we're going to go out there. We're going to lobby in the Congress. We're going to talk to people. We're going to provide services. As an animal chaplain, I help people deal with grief when they've lost an animal. So all kinds of different ways that you can provide this kind of loving support. And just people, when they see you doing it, they're more likely to change their behavior. If I say, do this, you're probably not going to do it. But if you watch me doing it and you see the positive things that are happening to me, you're going to want to do it. So that's kind of where I fall on that.
Well, Trump needs to believe that we're not a bunch of idiots out there protesting. You should see the love that we love for our country and take that on.
I was at a Trump protest this morning. I felt the love.
Yes.
Do you not think that this is divine order? That our country needed to fall apart in order to come back together?
Yeah, I do.
Don't worry. It's all in divine order.
I just worry about the starving kids, et cetera, but you know.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, we do.
Anything else?
We have a Q&A tomorrow.
Well, can I pray us out? Is that okay? Okay. Okay, we did a lot of work today, so just kind of move your body around, move your arms, your neck, your shoulders, shake it out, move your feet around, wiggle your ankles, just kind of feel yourself in your body. And then once you kind of felt that movement within your body, if it's comfortable, you can close your eyes and you can relax. And you can think about the difficult work that you did today, and you can feel proud that you had the courage to say yes. You had the courage to say yes to come today. You had the courage to say yes to participate in the activity. And you had the courage to say, yes, I will continue to live the truth I know. As a child of God, you have got to remember you have a divine inheritance, and it's your responsibility to live that out. So we feel grateful for the teachings that we've learned, and we affirm that all is well, and so it is. Amen.
So Kristen there and myself will be in the back to ask you to fill out these evaluations while we're here. Do we need the pens back? Sure.
No, we don't need them back, you can keep them.
Keep the Sharpies. I'll be back, same place tomorrow. Hope to see you then. It'll be a different message. I mean, related, but you'll learn new things. So just because you came today doesn't mean you don't need to come tomorrow. Oh, well, I'll see you tomorrow.
You can have fun in town tonight?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It's a beautiful night.
Oh, perfect weather. You couldn't have
gorgeous.
asked. Perfect divine order.
Yep,
That's all I keep saying everywhere I go. This is in divine order.